Hello, everyone, and welcome back into another episode of The Three View. Today, we are joined by Texas RoadRunners head coach Mike Beavis. How's it going today?
Pretty good. How about you?
It's going good. Glad to have you on. Glad to see you again.
Well, nice to be here.
So we'll kind of jump right on into things. So last year, you guys finished fifth in the South Division, just falling 1 point short of playoff contention. Reflect on last season for us.
Last year was I'm pretty happy with how last year went, not the end result, but we held on to second place most of the year. And the last month we had some performance issues, and some of the guys that we counted on weren't showing up every night. And you give up a point here and there. Came down to the last series with the Brahmas. We gave them a point, won it in overtime, and just we ended up 1 point out of third and fourth, and I think
Right.
5 points out of second. So it was a really tight division, and I'm okay with how it went. I think we played well. I think the guys, it's just a little bit of, guys got to come to work every day.
Right. And talk about the importance, like you just said, being so close within, places 3 and 4 just by 1 point. How important is it that your players show up every night in and night out?
Well, that's key, right? And we're dealing with teenagers, which is sometimes an issue, but consistency is always an issue, right? Guys get sidetracked. There's so many things that are going on in their personal lives. They're all becoming adults. I tell them all the time, you give up a point, and that could be the point you look back at and say, if we didn't give up that point, would have been in contention for a decent playoff run. And
Right.
I thought we were a much better team than we showed at the end.
Right. And, for those who may not be aware, your team is the NA3HL affiliate for the Odessa Jackalopes. Talk about that affiliation and the benefits that it provides your players.
Yeah, I think anytime you have an affiliation with a North American League team, it's a big help. Not so much, moving guys back and forth constantly, because I,
Mhm.
I probably send guys to skate with other and all teams just as much as I do with Odessa. But it's nice to know we have a parent club up there, and they're watching some of our guys. And, if they feel they're ready, they'll bring them up and skate. Most of our goalies go up there every year.
Mhm.
Odessa usually carries a couple goaltenders. We carry three. So, one of our goalies is always available if they need an emergency backup or something like that. But it's nice to have that null affiliation. People look at it as a big plus. And I tell guys all the time, because they don't want to be tied down to one null option, right? That I can
Right.
turn and send them to any team that is looking for a guy to come up and fill. So even though we're directly tied on the business side with the Odessa Jackalopes, I have relationships with several NA teams, and it's nice to be able to utilize those relationships and get guys opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, as we look at your roster from last year and we review the, league awards, you had Porter Wolk, who was awarded, the USPA Academic Achievement Award. Talk about the importance of having players who are successful not only on the ice, but in the classroom as well.
Yeah, Porter's kind of a brain. He's going to be an engineering student. He's actually starting at Oklahoma University.
Awesome.
He got in a little late. He's got to walk onto that team, but I don't think there's going to be a problem with him jumping onto that program at all. They're excited he's coming. I just can't really announce it until it's completed, but
Right.
Porter's a really smart kid. We spend hours and hours with our players, with meetings one-on-one with these guys, based on hockey items, as well as education and tier two stuff. So for us, I look at educational. The better your grades are, the more opportunities you have within college.
Hmm.
There's so many of my former players and guys that I'm friends with coach NCAA hockey, and they're all in competition every year for the best GPAs in their divisions, right? So
Right.
it's a big thing, right? So if you have a kid that's a 2.6 kid, and he's the same hockey player as a kid that's a 4.0 kid, the 4.0 kid's getting that spot. It's
Right.
just how it is, right? So, it's colleges and college coaches base a lot on your grades, your GPAs, your test scores. So we kind of keep our guys fresh. I always tell guys, take one or two classes during the
Hmm.
season. Make sure you keep your mind, set, because a lot of these guys will take 2 years off, and then it's hard to get back into college. Their brain just doesn't want to do it anymore.
Right.
But so education is huge. We get on that right away, and we stick with it all year long.
Yeah, and that's really awesome because when you give, like you said, the resources for them to succeed, it'll make college way easier in terms of transitioning from juniors, to ultimately their goal of playing college.
Exactly.
And as you head into your ninth season in the league, talk about how the NA3HL has evolved over time and, how our league is getting better year after year.
Yeah, it's crazy all the changes that have taken place is the teams that have left, the new teams that have come in, the coaches that have disappeared, some are coming back. I think the relationship that's being built, and I can remember the first time the Competition and Rules Committee met with the executive board of the North American League. And that started a really good process for us. It got us to start to build a relationship with the North American League on a different level, right? So we now know what the North American League expects from us in the 3HL and how they can help us, how we can help them. So that's huge. The next biggest thing is we're the only tier 3 hockey team, junior hockey team in USA Hockey League.
Mhm.
And with that being said, it gives our guys a little bit of an advantage, right? It's not just it's just not a renegade league, right? It's got substance to it. We have a ladder of development that starts in the PHL, works up through the 3HL and onto the North American Hockey League,
Mhm.
and I think that's all really important. We're now at a place where if an operator can't meet our standards, that operator doesn't stay long, right? They get put
Right.
on probation, moved on, right? So, it's sad because like I've been doing this over 40 years, and it's not a difficult thing. You do what you're supposed to do, and things fall into place for you.
Mhm.
People say, "How are you have a team put together already?" I have my team put together before my season ends, and the
Right.
reason being is because we do things the right way, and if everybody did what was right, this league would be just totally dominant.
And as we look forward to your roster for this upcoming season, we've seen a handful of player announcements on social media. Talk to about the new faces that will be joining the Roadrunners.
Yeah, so we have some new guys coming in. We have Adrian Abram and Joey Izzo and Vinny Cavazos. They're all coming from the Orland Park Vikings.
Mhm.
I'm really excited about those guys. We also have Payne Sweeney coming in from Lake Tahoe Prep. Um, we do have a bunch of new guys. We have 15 new guys.
Mhm.
Those are guys that are going to be key guys for us. Returning guys, I have Carson Spear coming back as my captain this year. He's a kid that's not going to settle for anything less than a championship. So we do have Noble Cook coming back, JT Brugaletta. We have a good core of returners to build around. And
Mhm.
then we have some very good rookie players coming into the mix too. So I'm really excited about the team we've put together. We've been full basically for the past 3 months.
Oh,
And
awesome.
the guys are excited to go. They're asking if they can move in now. And, we don't start training camp until Labor Day. So they're
Mhm.
off for a little bit. But I think we're going to be a team that's going to compete. And I think it's going to be, a really, really fun team to watch.
Awesome. And with the season just being a few weeks away, what is your biggest goal for the 2024-25 season?
My goal is to take one day at a time, right? And play each game one at a time. And as I do every season, my personal goals are different than the players' goals. My goals is to help every kid to move on to a higher level, whether it be
Mhm.
college or higher levels of junior, right? So and we try to do that as best we can. We basically have to sit down with these guys and get them to realize their skill level and their
Mhm.
their their college level pertaining to their grades, right? So once we get that accomplished, then it becomes an easier thing. But like over the years, I've realized there's a level of college for every single player out there, and
Right.
I could go on for that for hours. But there's no reason why guys don't go to school unless they don't. And literally, I have 4 guys from last year's team that are not going to college. They just decided most of them want to be realtors. You know, it's a good choice for them, I guess. But we let the guys make their own choices too, right? And we
Mhm.
spend a lot of time with meetings and setting them up on a life path, right? So, but my goal is a little different than theirs. The consensus is they want a Fraser Cup, so I can't argue with that. That'd be
Mhm.
nice. And guys see me come in with one of my championship rings from years back from a different league, and they all want one, right? And
Right.
you know what I tell them is, it's all good and fine, but you get out of hockey what you put into it, and the means to an end is college education, in my mind. And that's what we're hoping for all our guys coming on this year.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for hopping on today, and we'll see you pretty soon in College Station.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. See you, Brittany.